Hey guys, Sandra from Wani here with Ivar from Enslaved. How you doing?
Good, thanks. How are you?
Fine. So, how has this tour so far been, supporting Between the Buried and Me?
It's been a lot of fun. We're getting, I guess we're getting close to the last weeks. We've been all over the States. This is the first Canadian show out of two, and it's been a blast. It's a bit different audience from what we normally play for, and that was the whole point of this exercise. So we're really happy with it.
Actually, I was curious because you guys obviously have been around a lot longer than Between the Buried and Me. I was curious as to why you were supporting this tour.
Yeah, you know, they're a big band over here, and as I mentioned, they have a whole different audience, and for us that's a good kind of challenge, because I guess when you're kind of I don't know if we're really an old band, it's semi-old, I would say, 25 years next year. It's the easy thing is just to keep going to the same cities and playing with the same people, presenting a new album and all that. But for us it's important, we do that, but we also want to do the stuff in between where we try and reach new people. That's definitely the purpose of this one. We got invited to do the tour, and they took the chance.
Awesome. Okay. Do you generally enjoy touring, or is it hard being on the road a lot?
We enjoy it, but it's not so much a thing that I would sit around and think like what would be nicer now, to sit at home or studio or go on the road. It's just more of a natural reflex, I guess. We've been doing it since our first tour in '95, when we toured Europe, US and Mexico. That was the first time we went out, and since then I guess that's what we're doing. It's in our blood. It's like I guess like sailors or truck drivers or whatever. You just get out and do it.
Awesome. Do you notice a different reaction depending on where you play in the audience? So maybe one is more receptive than the other?
Yeah, on this tour, I guess maybe, especially so far it's been like going south in the US. We were a bit surprised that people were, like, especially Between the Buried and Me's fans were a little bit easier to get them to sort of forget that they hadn't heard us before. I guess the first week where we're touring the north of the US, people seem to be a little bit like observing, and they liked it and everything, and you can tell that, but they're sort of having this experience where they're seeing a band that they don't know what they're doing, and they like it, but then they have to think a bit more about it. But I guess maybe that's the consequence of the tour going forward also, that they're talking about it online, and people they're sort of not that concerned with being surprised that they're into Enslaved anymore. They're just into it. Yeah. And I'm guessing that's what's going to happen tonight too. That's how I know Canada. So.
That's great. Yeah, I actually saw you in March.
Yeah.
I was very happy with that show. It was a fantastic show.
Cool.
Just want to say that. So being an original member of Enslaved and having been a part of it for nearly 25 years, how has the band evolved in your mind?
Yeah, you have the technical side of it, where you become a better musician, and play a bunch of shows together, so you become like a tighter unit playing. But I guess in our case, we've been fortunate enough to let ourselves be influenced by our own experience as music listeners, and we have some vinyl collectors in the band. We have guys who work in the studio when they're not on the road, so we're very much sort of taking part of the whole music scene, both like the historical one with listening to old stuff, but also what's going on today, and being influenced. Yeah, like the March tour you mentioned, when we were touring with Yob, which is kind of music that's not necessarily associated directly with us, but sort of the same kind of going a bit outside the beaten path. So we're letting ourselves be influenced all the time, and I think that's what's taking us forward. Sort of, we're not afraid to incorporate the influences from whatever. If we like it, if it makes us feel something about the music, I'm sure we're gonna absorb it and take it into our own music. It keeps it fresh.
That's good. Because you don't want to be stuck in that everything. A lot of the bands, they do the same album over and over again. So
yeah, I love some of those bands. You know, there's some really important bands in the metal scene like that, like Motorhead or AC/DC or Maiden or whatever. You need those like to preserve the sort of heritage or legacy of the music genre. And then I guess you need bands like us that aren't afraid to do a little bit of heresy here and there and bastardize the whole thing.
Actually, that leads into something I was going to say. You know, with any genre of music, particularly stuff within the metal industry, you get a lot of fans that are elitist and they don't like seeing bands evolving and branching out and taking influence from various genres and sounding different. Do you find you get a lot of resentment or flack from a lot of, especially black metal fans, that see you go, you know, into more progressive territory or something like that?
Not really. There was a bit of, I guess the schism itself happened around late 90s. That's when I think people started to realize that it would be impossible to guess where we were going next and so on. But I think the whole thing of being being elitist or trying to scorn someone is you're dependent on like the receiver having a reaction if it's going to have any effect. So I guess some of these people, when they've approached us or our fans and trying to complain about it, I think they're a little bit disappointed because we don't even get offended by it. It's more like we totally respect the right to have that opinion. Okay, we talked about Motorhead, but it's the same thing with black metal. You have people who think whatever happened between 1991 and 1994 is the essence of black metal, and hey, they should be allowed to think like that. You know, the only thing that I would find negative about that is you have such a limited amount of music to listen to, and that doesn't fit me personally. I wouldn't need to get some influences, even though I really like that period of time myself. So yeah, it's kind of hard to insult us because we don't really take any offense. If people like the Frost album and that's it, hey, they still like an Enslaved album. Go for it.
Good.
Yeah.
So, well, I mean, what are you influenced by recently? What are you listening to, if anything?
Yeah, there's been, you know, there's always the classic stuff. It's almost boring going back to that. The things that we always listen to, the prog and so on. But there's interesting stuff going on in the metal scene too. There's interesting stuff going on in the black metal scene with like the Polish band, I can't pronounce it. It's just about a bunch of letters, MLWA something, MG something. I can't remember it. Can't remember stuff I can't pronounce, but there's things there going on in the underground, and you got a bunch of in the so-called like progressive scene. I think it's interesting what Opeth is doing. It's always exciting to hear what's going on with new tool, if anything.
If anything,
I'm starting
still
to
waiting.
It would be the best scam ever. Like they really quit like 8 years ago, but they're still making us think they're going on. That's and Meshuggah, what they're doing is always interesting. I think they're doing a new album next year. But like the last thing they did is still kind of influential, I think.
Oh, it's amazing. They can do no wrong, in my opinion.
Exactly.
They're one of those bands that it doesn't really matter what they do, it's always so good.
And they're always ahead, because just when they released their last album, that was like when the whole gent of Meshuggah clones were at its peak, and then they just went and did something else. That kind of attitude is also very inspiring, I think. So yeah, there's plenty of stuff happening all the time.
Awesome. So I know you've worked with many other musicians aside from Enslaved. You've done a lot of guest work and live work and stuff. Is there anything recently you've been working on the side?
Yeah, I'm working a lot on the Skoog Show project that we've done with Luna, a Norwegian folk act. So we did a commission piece in 2014, which we have done 2 concerts with, and now during the last year we've actually managed to sneak in a new full album that's going to be out in March. So there's a lot of work with that. We actually just finished the layout for the album on the bus like yesterday. So it's something happening all the time.
Awesome. So for the musicians out there, can you give a quick layout of your current gear?
Yes. The guitarists, we're both using PV6505 Plus heads. Like we have, they used to be called 5150 Mark II, but it's the same thing. We've been doing that like since 97. It's still the same setup, going directly from the guitar into the amp. Effects, I use TC Electronics, a Danish brand that's really good, I think. We have sort of a divided endorsement on guitars and basses between the Norwegian brand Futhark, which is like a hand-built thing inspired by runic and Viking history, which I think is it's sort of like a crossover. It's modern, but still has a little bit of that Viking aesthetics to it. And Gibson. On drum-wise, it's Pearl, in fact, so we're pretty lucky. We've never chased equipment, but we've been lucky enough to just stay with what we're using, and they keep coming to us. It's great.
So I've been told by a certain Sasha Dunable to ask you about the invention of Christmas. And I felt compelled to oblige. Would you like to elaborate on that? Yeah,
I sort of have the theory, or the truth behind Christmas is that our singer, he's the actual inventor of Christmas. It's his birthday, and since he's such a modest, humble guy, he decided everybody else should also have a festive day. So then he made up of this whole thing with some Jesus guy or something that's supposed to be born the same day. And then everybody gives each other presents and pretends it's like a family thing, but it's all actually about Luther's core values, which is drinking, food, and celebrating himself.
I think a lot of people have lost sight of that tradition. I think we should welcome that.
Yeah, more alcohol, food, and self-preservation.
Completely down with that. Okay, so to wrap up, what's next following this tour?
Yeah, it's January, February. We have a few festival shows here in Europe, and it's finally time to start writing a little bit of new material. I'm looking forward to that. And then we start celebrating ourselves. Speaking of taking care of number one, it's the 25th anniversary thing gets just in London, in a little festival we call London by Norse, where we are doing special shows with Enslaved, three nights, one for each period of time. First album's middle period and new period, which is also the release party for the Sculpture project. And from there on, it's touring, festivals, and whatnot.
Fantastic.
No rest for you.
All right. Well, thank you for talking to us today.
Thank you. Very nice.